Frank, I cannot believe that the college football regular season is already done. Now we're on to the championships, which is the most fun time. SEC championship, this is going to be a good one between Georgia and Alabama.
Okay, look, you're an Alabama grad, right?
I know.
Okay, that game, oh my goodness, I thought of you. I said, she's got to be losing her mind. How in the world Alabama won that game over Auburn, I'll never know, but they did, and now they come into the Georgia game with one loss. That's going to be a heck of a game now, I'm telling you. Alabama, Georgia. I think Georgia's going to win because I think Georgia's the best team in America. But this might be their toughest test. Alabama probably should have lost to Auburn. Somehow, some way, they found a way to win the game. And when teams do that, Alessandro, they find new life. They find a new vigor a little bit. And I think that might have happened with this Alabama team. But they play a really good Georgia football team. This game might be the national championship game. I can't wait to watch Georgia-Alabama. I'll take Georgia. But I think if there's one team that's not afraid of them and can play with them, it's Alabama. What a good one we got coming up on Saturday.
I was here Saturday night.
Yeah.
I was working, and it was right before the Florida State, and then Georgia game. I was having heart palpitations. I didn't know if I could do the late night news. 4th and 31. Jalen Milroe did it.
Unbelievable. And shame on Auburn, by the way, for only rushing 2 guys. Never rush 2. Always rush 3 or 4 guys.
So that will be a very good SEC championship in Atlanta. Talking about the ACC championship now in Charlotte, Florida State against Louisville. I think Louisville losing to Kentucky this past weekend hurts Florida State's chances to get into the playoffs. But if they win out, I do believe that they deserve a playoff spot.
100% agree with you. That is dead on, Alessandra. FSU's obviously not the same team without Jordan Travis. You saw it against Florida, playing a Florida team that's not very good, had a struggle and won that game really late in the game. They're not the same team. They're going to have a tough time in the playoffs without their quarterback. But that should not keep them out. If Florida State beats Louisville, and I think they're going to, by the way. I think they're going to beat Louisville even with Tate Rodemaker as a quarterback. I assume he'll come back in. Brock Glenn had to finish that game. But I think they're going to beat Louisville. I still think so. They belong in. You can't win all your games, win your conference, and then not get in the tournament. I don't care what else happens. Shame on the college football folks if FSU wins and doesn't get in. I think they're going to win, but I think they're going to have a tough time. Without Jordan Travis, they're a different team, and we really saw it against the Gators on Saturday night.
Speaking of the Gators, I really thought Florida had a chance to win that, but penalties and poor play calling. They absolutely threw themselves under the bus with that, especially at the end of the game. I don't know what the Gators were thinking they were doing. That is a rough way to go out. Yeah,
and no question. They're also not the same team without their quarterback. Graham Mertz was really good for them this year. 20 touchdowns, 3 picks, 73% completion percentage. He was better than anybody thought. So I hated, just like Jordan Travis, I hated it for Graham Mertz that he couldn't finish. Florida's got a lot of problems. Florida's 5-7. They're going to miss a bowl game. They didn't deserve a bowl game. There's going to be a lot of players leaving the portal. They're going to have to bring a lot of players into the portal. People are starting to question Billy Napier now. Billy Napier's okay now. He's not going anywhere. But I think the leash got shortened a bit because of how dysfunctional they looked at times. Florida needs the offseason. They need a lot of guys out of the portal. It's going to be a tough offseason for Florida because now I think the clock's ticking a little bit on Napier. I hope Napier makes it. I think he's the right guy, but they've got to be improved next year, no question.
And definitely some coaching changes should be made for Florida. And if they can keep that recruiting class, possibly, hopefully, for Florida fans, you guys can have a better season next season. But as we wrap up, Selection Sunday is this Sunday. We'll know who the top 4 teams will be in the college football playoff. I have to ask you, who do you think is going to make it?
I think Georgia is going to win, and I think they will be in. Michigan, obviously, they're going to be in. I think those 2 are in for sure. Then I think it gets interesting. If FSU wins, I think they should be in. I think Oregon's going to beat Washington. So then you're going to have a one-loss team get in there somewhere. Who is the one-loss team? Is it Texas? Is it Oregon? Who's the one-loss team that gets there? Assuming Georgia wins, and I think they're going to. FSU wins, I think they're going to. Those are the 2 undefeated teams. Michigan's going to win. Which one-loss team? If Washington wins, then there's your 4 teams. But I think Oregon's going to beat Washington. So which one-loss team? I think Oregon gets in ahead of Texas. So if you ask me the 4th, I think it's going to be Oregon.
Ooh, so we'll have to see on Sunday night. Frank, thank you so much. And that's your look at sports.